Jerry Mercury Studio presents When Grassroots Not Only Sprout. After a year in Estonia, which followed my fleeing Russia, taking an interview with two locals in Tallinn gave me some serious thought. It was May the 6th, 2023, when I came to Kadriorg Community Garden for the event where people got their flower beds ready for the season. There I was lucky to contemplate the blooming flower buds of grassroots movements in Estonia. No way could I imagine such blossoming on Russian soil. In the garden I was welcomed by a vibrant group of people, enthusiastically preparing the area for the summer. These people instantly introduced me to two local activists of their grassroots community, Kadi Laansalu and Ave Kargaja. Both immediately agreed to answer some of my questions about the event and the movement in general. I had a lot of questions. For me, a refugee from Russia, it was very difficult to get my head around the fact that some people in Estonia had organized all those gardens on their own initiative and not on orders from above. It seemed incredible to me that people who cultivate these areas are not afraid that the government officials will demolish flower beds with excavators or appropriate the project for themselves. These flower beds are not fenced off, and there are many benches around. How can it be that people here have not lost trust in each other and plant flowers without fear that some vandals will come and destroy the beds, uproot the plants, scatter cigarette butts and other rubbish around, and write some filth on the benches? I became sincerely interested in what drives these people, what fosters their lively community, and where they draw so much creative energy to do collective volunteer work year after year. In other words, when and under what conditions do the grassroots sprout? The first person who I interviewed was Kadi Laansalu. She invited me to sit with her on a bench and treated me to tea with honey from her thermos flask. Here is our conversation. Could you please introduce yourself?
My name is Kadi. I'm one of the, I don't know even how to call it because we don't have managers because it's a community garden, but one of the ones who helps to make this happen. And this is our year number 4. The city is funding us, so every year we write a project to say what we are doing and how, what we would like to do and what is going on and all the events. Then the city supports us, at least so far. And then we have more than 30 gardeners, and everyone has their own little box, and they can grow whatever they want and like. The only thing is that it should be environmentally friendly, so we are not using pesticides or chemicals. And everyone grows flowers or food or whatever. And then we have common events like today, where we do things commonly because we have also common areas, flower beds and different things. And some people just come here to enjoy. They don't have their own garden or garden bed. They just come here, sit on the bench and have a picnic here. And so this is like a nice place to rest in the city center.
And who initiated this movement?
I have no idea whose personal initiative it was, but there were, I think, 2 main first gardens who started it. One was in Lasnamäe. I think the name was, is it Pae Garden? And the other one is actually on private land. Is it Põhjala Garden? So they were the first ones even before Tallinn started supporting financially.
Does the city support the movement only financially?
We have an agreement with the city that this plot is in our use. So and city also supports us. They mow the lawn, for example, and collect the rubbish. And our part is to keep it nice and keep it in order and use it.
Does the community garden movement have to do with some other ecological movements against pollution, for example?
No, we don't have any. It's outside any movement or any politics. It's just, and people also here have really different backgrounds and nationalities, and also ages. I mean, from children until pensioners. And really different people. They just love to do something outside and love gardening. I think this is the only common thing that we have. Really common thing. And so it's and probably also people like to spend their time outside in fresh air and not only sit in the city parks but do something.
What is special about today's event?
So we just are saying that we are preparing the beds for this year because we have the soil. So everyone is welcome to prepare their own beds, add some soil and also put soil into the common beds. And also we are painting some of the wood because it's to protect it. And so this is a garden event. Some of people already came earlier in the morning. Yeah, a lot of families already have done some work, and then because their children need to sleep, then they're already gone. And some people will come a little bit later. So today is like a long day.
Do you hold any other events?
When we teach something, some type of either summer flowers or organic gardening or different types of beds, how to make them in permaculture way, or last year we made one bed for children so they can play in, so it's a different kind of events.
Okay, and I heard that community gardening is widely spread in Estonia.
Well, yeah, it is. I don't know if it's all around Estonia, because probably if you're in the countryside then you don't do that, you have your own land. But it's in many cities, yes, and the big one is Tallinn and the other one is Tartu, where there are the majority of these community gardens, and the smaller places follow.
What are your plans for the future? Will there be more community gardens?
I think that every year there are more and more gardens, and this is only not these type of community gardens, but there are also gardens in kindergartens and schools, so they are also growing. So I think there will be as many as possible. It only depends on where you find the place. Yeah, because it's always not that easy to find a place where you have all the necessary, not only land, but also you need water, for example. So but I think there will be more and more.
Do all people respect this garden? Or probably there are some cases when people vandalize it?
We have some minor issues. There was one homeless guy who started using our water for washing. It would have been okay, but he just left all the rubbish here, so we just had to put a lock on our water bin. But mainly it's really, really well kept. Well, yeah, we have sometimes some small things. If someone is picking your strawberries, but not huge vandalism. We haven't had any issues, and I think people just love that they can sit, and it's not so let's say polished. It's more like your grandma's garden.
Right.
Yeah, we have a lot of different people just come and sit on our bench, watch the birds and the flowers, and then just move on. And whether it's just moms with their children or old people or just neighbors coming to sit here. And actually we have there some areas where usually people gather who want to drink or some homeless. We see them really often, but they don't do any damage. Yeah, they sit there, and there is actually one white bench made there. So there are people coming, sitting in peace. There is more shade, so in the summer it's really nice. And and they just come here, have their, I don't know, drink or something, and then they move on, and we haven't had any issues so far, or big issues.
I walk around the garden and make footage of the garden beds. White tulips fall into the frame. I take close-ups of them. Ave Kargaja comes to meet me. We start a conversation. Could you please introduce yourself?
I'm Ave, and I live in Kadriorg, and we are doing this community garden with one other person, and I really am interested in the community things, to do something in this place where I live. And I also organize tomorrow children flea market, which is the first time in here Kadriorg, and the interest is so big, and that's make me really happy, because then people can go together and be together like community.
And what is Children Flea Market?
It's actually just this kind of event that children or their parents are taking their own things, children things, clothes or playing things or whatever, and they are selling them, yeah, to the next round. Maybe some children are making food also, and they are selling it also.
So it's a big event, isn't it?
I thought it is a small one, but in Facebook I see that there are over 100 people who are interested in that, and we have almost 40 people who want to sell something, so it's quite big in here.
And how did you come to the idea of this flea market?
I had this idea actually last year already, because I have two small children, and they are growing so fast that those things I have so much things at home, and I don't have so many people to give those things, and that's why I thought that maybe to make it a bigger round.
Okay, maybe you would like to add something.
I don't know. I like community things, and I have a really nice street in Kadriorg where I know so many people already who have children, and children are those who connect people with each other, I think, and dogs, and also, I think.
Of course, sharing passion for gardening can bring together people from all walks of life. And of course, bringing up children and breeding dogs can foster a lively and connected community. But I believe that there is something else to it that allows people to turn ideas into reality and support each other's initiatives. The next day, I came to the children's flea market to see it with my own eyes. Everything was very simple and democratic. People, often whole families, placed children's clothes, shoes and toys for sale on tables or right on the grass. Some people were selling homemade cakes, others were selling self-made goods. There were people of different ethnicities and cultures. It was so unusual for me to watch this peaceful event where people experienced a great sense of community connectedness through this shared activity without being disturbed by threats or racketeering. History knows many examples when grassroots movements sprouted under oppression. But I believe that in order to really flourish, these grassroots movements need a sufficient degree of freedom. When human dignity is valued, and when one does not need to wait for an initiative from above to start doing something, people can freely gather together without looking around, fearing that they are about to be grabbed. They can create community hubs, be they gardens or flea markets, where they can enjoy a range of social activities. Instead of leading an isolated lifestyle, fiercely competing with each other, people gather in these social hubs, which provide lots of opportunities for recreation and learning, sharing one's talents, and even earning some money. They also provide spaces for exercise, working while breathing fresh air, contemplation and relaxation. And besides, all these movements are very environmentally friendly. Gardening helps the environment to be clean and healthy, and setting up grassroots markets contributes to a decrease in production of new goods, as old things get a new life. These movements are also friendly to social environment. In order to do something important, it's not necessary to occupy high public position or belong to a certain social stratum. Anyone who wants to join can rent a flower bed for 10 euros per season. I wish good luck to Estonian grassroots initiatives, and I have a dream that one day, in the countries where aggression and oppression are cultivated, the situation will radically change, and grassroots initiatives will not only sprout, but also flourish and bear fruit. Jerry Mercury, Tallinn, May 2023.